I just can't wait until I wake up one day and look at my videos and see that YouTube has been cool with me. They've been pushing me out. Over 100,000 to 500,000 people are watching, liking, commenting, sharing their opinions. I just can't wait. Hello, you guys. If you are watching this video, the algorithm gonna push you out to me. And if you're not subscribed, join the family. Over here, we like drama. We like tea. Heck, a lot of times we just like to hear somebody else's story. If you like that type of content, hit that subscribe button. Hype me up. Join the family. We welcome you over here. And if you are returning, y'all already know. Y'all already know. We cool. Let's get straight into today's reaction video.
Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. Now, I know I was supposed to drop this story time yesterday, but life get to life, and sometimes when I get overwhelmed and I gotta reset. So yesterday I had to reset. So in order for y'all to really understand why everything played out the way it did, I'm gonna have to give y'all a little backstory, right? So it all started when I was about 23 years old, right? I was the mother to just 2 of my kids at the time, my boys. And my oldest son's dad was in prison, and my youngest son's dad was in prison, right? So it was just me and my 2 kids. And my mother was my only support system, but my mother battled addiction, so it was only so much support she could give me, right? So when times got harder, wasn't nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that my kids had what they needed. So if I had to go in stores and steal what they needed, that's what I did. I went in stores and I would steal what they needed. Obviously, I wasn't too good at it because I ended up with a theft charge, and I had to go to court, and I ended up pleading out to it, and now it's on my record. So now I have 2 kids and a theft charge on my record, and I'm applying for jobs, and I'm trying to get my life together, right? And I can't tell y'all how many job interviews I went to, how many orientations I went to. They would hire me, and then they would fire me as soon as my background check came back. And I am an only child, y'all, and I have that only child syndrome people talk about, where you feel like everything's supposed to go your way, right? So as I'm going to these jobs interviews and I'm getting denied and I'm getting fired, it start messing with me mentally. So y'all, while I'm already battling, trying to figure out my financial situation for me and my children, I get a call that my baby daddy is in prison. He is swollen up with fluids. His heart is failing. So y'all, when I get that call, I'm just like, God, what are you trying to do to me? Like, it's only so much I can take, right? So a couple weeks passed, maybe 2 weeks after I got that call, and then I got another call. And that next call was my son's family letting me know that my baby daddy was found deceased in his cell. He swelled up with fluids, and he choked on his own fluid, pretty much. Y'all, that sent me, because I'm just like, not only am I struggling, I got 2 kids, but now one of my possible support system that could come home and do right is gone. It's gone. So now I'm really a single mother for real. When I say I went through such a dark moment, like I got so depressed, y'all, I can't even lie to y'all. I didn't want to be here anymore. And I remember like yesterday, I was sitting in my car like I am now, and I was just staring off into space, and I told myself, I cannot create a solid foundation for my kids. I cannot even raise them. I can't make them happy because I'm not happy. I just feel like I'm better off if I'm not here. So I drove down to the store, bought me some ibuprofen PMs or Tylenol PMs, whatever they call, and I took the whole bottle. And all I remember is waking up to the fire department breaking my door down and taking me to the hospital. That's all I remember, is waking up and the fire department is breaking my door down. They put me in a mental institute for 72 hours, y'all. And in those 72 hours, I told myself, I don't care what I have to do when I get out of here, I got to get some money for my kids. So I had this homeboy, y'all. He was an old head. He was from up north, and I knew he was getting money because whenever I needed anything, if I needed a ride, if I needed anything that he could help me with, he would help me. And it was this one time we was sitting on my porch after I got out the hospital, and we was just talking, and I was venting, and I told him, I got to get me some money. So my homeboy told me, come up with $150 and call me. I'm going to show you something. And y'all, that was like music to my ears. Do you hear me? I'm like, I know this nigga getting money. He about to show me. You heard me? So y'all, long story short, I got the 150. I caught my homeboy and he pulled up on me with that thing. And I'm going to say that thing because I don't want TikTok betting me. And I don't want the people on here doing the most. But anyways, y'all, he pulled up on me with that thing. He backed it up for me. He told me what to do, how to do, and when to do it. You hear me? And baby, it was on like Donkey Kong from there. I'm talking about, I sat on my porch. Because at this time, I'm living in a project. So I sat on my porch, passed out some samples, and my shit got the rocking. Y'all, so at this point, everything. The money going, pockets fat, kids great, got a car, we living good, everything. But I'm still in the projects, right? So y'all, when I say my shit was rocking, I mean my shit was rocking. Like my door was like the bando. It was like this all day long, all night long. It got to the point where I had to beg the Jays to just chill. Let me get 30 minutes of sleep and we good, right? So just imagine one apartment out of 100 and there's so much traffic going to that motherfucker. It gets the attention of the authorities in the office, right? So I get woke up to bangs on my door one morning. And y'all, I'm thinking it's the peoples. They want their little fix. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, I go to the door and it's the police and it's the office. And they are handing me a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, they're telling me that I'm being evicted due to too much traffic. So now I'm just like, golly, like if it ain't one thing, it's another. But in my mind, I'm like, that was your goal, to get you some money to give you and your kids a better living. So you got the money, go get you a house. And that is when I got my first house. So now I got the house, I got the cars, I got the money, I got an extra room. So I moved my mama in. I call my mama and I tell my mama, I got us a house, come on home. And she come on home. So now I'm feeling like that bitch. Do you hear me? I got the nice big house, my first house. I got the nice car. I done brought my mama to the crib. She good. She don't got to worry about nothing. The kids good. I bought my mama a car. Like, I'm feeling like I'm doing my big one. You hear me? And everything was great. Until one day I'm at the mall. Me and my homegirl. It's Halloween at this time. We getting ready for a Halloween party. Right? So after I leave the mall, I go home so I can shower and get dressed and get ready for this party. Right? And as I'm pulling up at home, I realize that my door is wide open. And when I walk in, my house is very disoriented. Like, it's a mess, as if kids have been running around here unsupervised, right? So at the time, my youngest son, he was about 2 or 3. And I asked them where their nana is. Where is your nana? Because she's supposed to be watching y'all. And y'all, I was not prepared for what I was about to see. But as I walk further into my house, I see my mom's feet hanging from under my kitchen table. And she's laying under my kitchen table and she is unresponsive. And y'all y'all just gonna have to come back for part 2 if y'all want the rest of the story, because I need a reset. But if I was y'all, I would come back, because this shit gets crazy.
Whoa. She found her mother unresponsive in her kitchen while babysitting. Not only that, her baby father had a heart condition in jail. I'm wondering, like, what was they doing? Was they treating him? Was they sending him to a cardiologist? Like, was they making sure he was good? Because there's no way fluid would have been building up and them not get him the proper, like, health care, like the proper treatment. At least let him out, put him on house arrest so he can go to these doctors, something. Like, was they not Do they not be taking care of people in jail? Because I hear so many horror stories from people of losing loved ones in jail because of a health condition. And my husband was diagnosed with heart failure, but he go to his cardiologist and his doctor's appointments and everything. Yes, most definitely do. So like, I feel like jail don't take care of those people like they supposed to. And Jesus, it's already part one, just part one, and she done unraveled so much stuff. Whew, let's continue.
Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So when I walk in the house and I see that my mom is unresponsive, I immediately start trying to wake her up. I check her pulse and I started conducting CPR. Then is when my mama woke up and she told me she don't know what's going on, but she cannot move. Then is when my friend and I tried to attempt to pick her up, but at this point she was dead weight. So we contacted the ambulance, and the ambulance had to come and assist us with getting her up. So they take her to the hospital, and I hop in my car and I follow behind them. And when we get to the hospital, the doctor pretty much tells us that, you know, they've never seen nothing like this before, but she was pretty much deceased. Like her body was in a state of somebody that was deceased. Her body temperature had dropped, her blood pressure was low, her nervous system was shutting down, but she was fully awake and communicating. Then is when I found out how serious my mother's addiction had gotten, right? And I'm a firm believer that God will take you through something to show you something. And that's what I explained to my mother at that time. And she agreed that, you know, she was ready to get this life behind her. She was ready to get herself together. Until one night. So it was this one night that me and my homegirl, we went to the club. We was out partying all night. Like, I stayed at her house because we was out all night, right? So it wasn't until that next morning that I decided to go home. And when I pulled up at my house, my door is kicked wide open again, y'all. So I go in my house, I immediately go to my stash, and I realize all my money is gone. And I had a nice house. I had a big house, and it was a finished basement downstairs, and that's where I let my mama stay, because it had a bedroom, a living room, and a bathroom, so she could have her own area. And that's where she was, watching my kids all night. Y'all, my mama told me she didn't hear anything. She didn't know anything was occurring. She just woke up. So I wanted to get police involved, but y'all, at this time, I'm in the streets. I don't got time to be messing with the boys. So I know I don't have cameras on my house, but I know my neighbors across the street do. So I go across the street to holler at my neighbors. And y'all will not believe who was on that camera kicking my door in. Y'all guessed it right. My mama. It was my mama. My mama had set this whole thing up to look like somebody had broken my house and took all my money. And I didn't look at these cameras or even get these camera footage until 2-3 days later, when she wasn't around me. And y'all know I was so heartbroken, because it was just like, dang, this is my mama. But then again, I have to remind myself, this isn't my mama. This is a monkey on her back that she's battling with. So I have to be considerate of that too. So at this point, I give my mama an ultimatum. It's either me or the streets, me or the drugs. And she chose herself. She chose herself, and I was proud of that, because choosing herself, she decided to go to rehab. So me and a friend of hers found her a really nice rehab to attend. We get her signed up, and we get her, you know, into the program. So once I get my mama settled, I'm thinking about this loss I just took. And I'm telling myself, I gotta get me some more money for my kids. So y'all, one day I go to the utility board to pay my light bill, and as I'm walking into the utility board, this car pulled up to me and stopped me, and it was this guy. And y'all, I ain't the type of woman to think just because a nigga barking at you that you gotta bite. So y'all know what I did? I kept walking. So as I'm walking, I keep hearing this nigga barking, but I'm hearing his accent too, and it rings a bell. This nigga from up north. And knowing the situation I'm in and what I got to do, yeah, let me turn around and politic with this nigga, because I'm pretty sure he got what I need. So So y'all, I turned my little self around. I walk up to his car, and me and this nigga get to talking. He asked me what I'm in here doing. I told him I'm here paying my bill, and he asked me how much my bill was. I told him some outrageous prices that wasn't even the price. Like, I mean, duh, why wouldn't I? And he dropped his glove department to get that money, and all I seen was bricks of money, y'all. And all I heard in my ear was ding, 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 ding. Bitch, you scored. So me and this man exchange numbers, and we get to talking, we get to kicking it, and everything going smooth. So me and this nigga, we kicking it, we vibing, nothing too serious, but y'all know when y'all get the vibing and the chemistry is there, y'all know what that leads to. So 2 or 3 months passed, and you know, we locked in. Like, what we got going on is solidified. Like, I'm staying at his house or he's staying at my house, but we're together every day. So we decided to get us a crib together. I know, moving in with somebody after 2 or 3 months is crazy, but y'all was young and dumb. So y'all, me and this man found us a house together, and we move in together, and everything is going great. I'm talking about, I'm up dog shit. I got more money than I have ever had in my life. So then is when I had to take a step back and reflect. Like, I got in that game with the motive, with the objective. I had to go, and I've accomplished that goal. I got me and my kids out the projects. My pocket's good. I'm up dog shit. I got me a good nigga. He's up. The kids good. Everything is everything. It's time for me to get out the game. So y'all, I did exactly that. I got out the game. Like, I was done. I was no longer in the streets. I was no longer out here committing a crime. So a couple months passed, and I'm chilling, but now that I'm out the game, I told my man that I wanted to invest. Like, it's time to make some legitimate investments. So we sit down and talk, and we decide to go up north where he from and purchase a home and start flipping houses, because up north you can get the house cheaper, remodel it, and flip it. So that's exactly what we did. We went up north and we purchased us a house, and we up there, we meet the people that do the roof, we meet the people that get in this house remodeled. And y'all, I'm feeling like on a cloud. Like, I'm feeling so accomplished. I'm feeling like, you know, I'm really making a positive turnaround with something that I was doing that was such a negative thing. Like, I'm feeling real good. But y'all know, when y'all get the feeling too good and it feels too good to be true, likely it's too fucking good to be true. So one day, me and my dude, we ride around the city or whatever, and he gets a call. And y'all, his phone is up to his ear, but he got his volume up so loud I can hear what's being said on the other end. And the caller is one of the people that he does business with. And all I heard on the end of that call is that somebody has died. And y'all just gonna have to come back for part 3 if y'all want to know the rest of the story.
Ooh, honey. You know, I think I'm too girly, because I just can't see myself selling for a living. Like, I just can't see how a lot of women go and then become, you know, that type of pharmacist. Like, I just can't see it. But at the end of the day, like she said, like, it just seemed like a lot of stuff was just moving really, really fast with her, especially meeting him, seeing he got money, moving in 3 months later, then moving out of town after that. Like, it seemed like a lot of stuff was going real fast for her. And when stuff go fast, baby, you better slow down. But let's get to part 3. Let's finish hearing her out.
Part 3 on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So like I was saying, me and my dude, we riding around the city, and he get a phone call. And on that other end of that phone call, it is somebody that he does business with, and she's telling him that somebody has died. So y'all, like, when he hang up the phone, I'm instantly like, what's going on? Like, everything okay? And he like, yeah, everything cool. And he don't tell me nothing, right? All I know is he told me we gotta go back home. We gotta go back home and see what's going on. So we get all the way back home, and he pulls up on his peoples. They chop it up, and he come back home, and he tell me what's going down. So he comes home and he tells me that somebody that he does business with sold product to someone, and they did the product, and now they are unalived. Y'all, when I say I freaked out, because I'm like, okay, I don't know what you dealing with and what you got going on, but at this point it's time for you to get out the game and stop dealing with this, because shit is about to get real. But when you're dealing with a man, or when you're dealing with somebody that has issues with ego and egotistical, you can give them all the knowledge in the world, good knowledge at that, and they won't take it into consideration, all because they have too much pride. So instead of him taking heed to what I'm telling him, he brings somebody else down here from up north to start running. And he didn't just bring anybody. He brought a young nigga that ain't never had shit, okay? And y'all know how them young niggas that ain't never had shit act. They want to be flashy, wear the fake jewelry, the fake designer, go in the store and pay for something that costs $5 and pull out a wad of money. Just hot shit. And I know at this point I should have got the fuck on. And that was my plans. Until one morning I woke up and I just wasn't feeling like myself. I was feeling nauseous, my head was hurting, I was pretty much feeling sick to my stomach. And I was vomiting. So I got up, got dressed, and I went to the doctor. And y'all know what I'm about to say. I was pregnant. And y'all, I'm not no woman that can't hold my weight, you know, that can't stand on my own 2 feet and hold my kids down. But I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm a single mother. I've been doing this by myself for a very long time. And although I don't have a perfect man, I have someone that is present and he doesn't have any kids. So I told him that I was pregnant, and he was so excited. And y'all, by this time, my mom is home from rehab. She's doing good. She's working 2 jobs. She has gained so much weight. We got her teeth done. Like, my mom's doing great. And she finds out that I'm pregnant, and she is ecstatic. Because at the time, I have 2 boys, and I've always wanted a little girl. So now we're all hoping that we have a little girl. And then the next morning, I woke up, and I was bleeding. And when I seen that, I knew exactly what was going on. Although it never happened to me before, I just knew that's not supposed to happen while you're pregnant. And it absolutely broke my heart to have to tell him and his family and my family that, you know, we got excited, but it's over with. And y'all, I was a little sad, but I felt like so much was just going on around me. I just wanted to take a vacation. So I called my best friend. I booked us a flight, and we took us a trip to Miami. Now, mind y'all, at the time when I linked up with this dude, I turned my best friend on to his homeboy. So we, you know, doing this double date thing. So y'all, we go to Miami, we turn up, we're having a great time, right? Until this one night, me and my best friend, we go get us some drinks, we go get our little towels and our blankets, and we're sitting on the beach and we vibing. And she get a FaceTime call from my dude's homeboy, and he's crying. So I look at my best friend and I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is he crying? Like, feel me? So she turned the phone up so I can hear why he is crying. And y'all, this man says, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I'm scared. So now I'm like, what's going on? Like, what do you know that we don't know who's going to jail and why? So I call my dude on FaceTime and I turn the camera around and I let him see and hear what his homeboy is saying. But just like he did the other situation, he just shrugged it off like it was nothing. And he like, what that nigga talking about? Ain't nobody going to jail. So my homegirl talked to him. She trying to calm him down. She like, what's wrong, baby? Like, why you think somebody going to jail? Why you think somebody going to jail? And this man just was like, I don't know, but I just got a feeling. And you know what they say about when you get that feeling. You better follow your gut. So me and my best friend, we continue on with our vacation. We partying up. We living our, you know, our best life. So once the vacation comes to an end, we get on our flight and we fly into Atlanta. And my dude had this guy that was his driver come pick us up from the airport. And we tired and we hungry, so we stop and we get us some food. And mind y'all, when we left to take this trip, he drove us to the airport in Atlanta. So we done had, one good ride with him already, vibing, talking, chilling, conversation back and forth, right? So we pull over at American Deli to get us some food, right? And we go in, we order our food, and the driver stays in the car. So as we go to pay for our food, we realize that we forgot our wallets in the car. So my best friend goes outside and she walks back to the car. And when she comes back, y'all, she is furious. So I'm like, damn, what's going on? You good? Like, what happened? And y'all, she tells me that when she goes back to the car to get our wallets, the driver has both of our IDs in the car looking at our IDs. So after we grab our food, we go back to the car and I'm like, damn, what you on? Like, why you looking at our IDs and shit? So he like, I just wanted to know your name. So in my mind, it's not making any sense to me because I'm like, we have been riding in the car with you for 3 hours from our city to the airport. And we've been in the car with you for 2 hours as of right now. And you mean to tell me you don't know our names and we've been conversating and kiki and hi and saying each other names back and forth? So I call my dude and I'm like, hey, your homeboy, he tripping. I don't know what he got going on, but you need to holler at him. So when we get back, my dude, he trips out on him. He asks him like what he on, and he keeps saying the same thing. I just wanted to know their names. So at this point, he's irritated. Like, he feels like, okay, I got one homeboy calling me crying. I got the other one wanting to look at my girl and her homegirl IDs. Everybody moving funny, so he cuts everybody off. And he's somebody that drags something, like he festers on things and he lets it cloud his mind. So the next day he sent me a text message and he was like, I'm so tired of everybody. I'm about to cut everybody off and it's just gonna be me and you. And I don't think nothing of it. I'm just like, yeah, I feel you, babe. Like, just trying to comfort my dude, right? So a couple weeks pass and me and my dude, we get back on the baby making mission, right? And after a month of trying, I found out that I'm pregnant. And weeks passed, and we went to our first doctor's appointment, and we heard the baby's heartbeat. So we knew that we were finally growing a healthy baby. So now that I know I have another child on the way, I decide that I'm going to do what it is that I've always wanted to do, and I signed up for nursing school. So I got my enrollment, and I found out that I start school in 2 weeks. And 2 weeks passed, and it's Easter weekend, the weekend before I start school. And me and my baby daddy, we are at odds because I find out that he's cheating on me. And because there's so much tension between us, we decide to give each other a break. So it's the morning of me starting my first day of school. And as I'm leaving the house, he's leaving the house to go up north for a while so we can have a break. So I'm at school and I'm enjoying my first day of class until I get a phone call. And y'all, it's my best friend on a FaceTime, and she turned her camera around and she shows me that the feds have her house surrounded. So at this point, I'm freaking out, y'all. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I hang up and I call my baby daddy. And as always, he shrugs it off and tells me, oh, well, if the feds got their house surrounded, that mean they was coming for that nigga. So I'm like, nigga, you stupid. If they was coming for that nigga, then they was coming for you. I'm about to go to my crib. And as I'm walking out my office of my school, the police is walking out of the office of my school. And they stop me and they call my name. And they tell me that I have a warrant for my arrest and I need to come with them because I got some things going on at my house. And come back for part 2 for the rest.
She meant come back for part 4 because this was part 3. Damn! She can't get a break. Her dude, like, he don't give a fuck if it ain't him. But it is him. Because y'all all in the same circle, baby. If they at her house, my partner house, they at your partner house. Because they go together. And they after you too. Like, what drug dealer don't know that? What pharmacists don't know that? I'm happy that her mother got herself together and changed herself around, got 2 jobs and doing better for herself. Now she had a healthier support system from her mother when, you know, like she always had her mother back. But this is 10 times more when now she's able to reciprocate the same energy. So I'm happy that her mother got herself together. But I'm concerned too because she's trying to go to nursing school, right? But they check backgrounds and stuff too. So she could do nursing school like all the way through and then try to get a job, and then bam, she can't get a job, but she paid all that money to go to school. So yeah, I'm concerned with that part right there. But nevertheless, let's continue because her life is like a roller coaster and we here to listen.
Part 4 on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So y'all, back to what I was saying. So I'm walking out the classroom, and as I'm walking out the classroom, the police is coming out of the office of my school, right? All I hear is my name, and when I turn around, the officers tell me that I have a warrant for my arrest, but they also tell me that I got some things going on at my house, so I need to come with them, right? So y'all, I get handcuffed. He put me in the back of his police car and he drive me up to my house, which is like about 5 minutes away at this time. And I gotta take it back just a little bit because I forgot a very important detail. So y'all, my baby daddy had this brother, right? And his brother was on drugs really, really bad. And he ended up getting in trouble and he went to jail, right? So my baby daddy was just like, as soon as he get out the county, he wanted to come and get him and move him down here with us. And at first I was against it because I'm like, I really don't know this man. But if don't nobody know how it feels to want to save your loved one, I do. So I agreed. So his brother is living with us, and he's not involved in anything that his brother have going on. He's pretty much just in the house, chilling, getting back to himself, and helping me watch the kids while I go to school. So when I pull back up to my house, y'all, they got my baby daddy brother in the backseat of the police car, and both of my boys is sitting on the porch passing the football. So they immediately put me in the car with my baby daddy brother, and I look at him and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? So he proceeds to tell me that he heard a knock on the door. He went to go answer it. Before he could open it, they kicked the door in, right? And when they kicked the door in, they showed him a warrant and they pulled everybody outside, including the kids. So I'm telling him like, well, I mean, what are they looking for? Because it ain't nothing in there, right? Y'all, this man give me a look. And before he could answer my question, the detective opened the back seat of the car and took me out. So he gets me out the car and we walk to the back of the car. And on the back, I see a couple of cell phones that belong to me and my kids, right? So he proceeds to ask me like, is these your cell phones? And I'm like, 2 of them belong to my kids. The other ones aren't mine, so whatever. And he asks me for my code. So I'm like, I'm not giving you the code to my phone. Like, what is any of this even about, right? So he pulls out some paperwork and he shows me United States versus blah, blah, blah. So he tells me that he has a warrant for my baby daddy's arrest. He's been federally indicted, and he also has a search warrant to search my home to find anything that can help them with their case. So I'm popping shit, y'all. I'm like, well, it ain't nothing in there. Y'all not gonna find anything in my house, so y'all turn my house up for nothing. And then he pulls out this big ass bag. And in that big ass bag, he pulls out another big ass vacuum seal bag full of drugs. Y'all, I about lost my shit. I instantly was like, that's not my shit. That's not my shit, whatever. So then he tells me that they found these drugs in my house. The house is in my name. And because my children were in the home, they are taking them in until they can get him in custody and he takes ownership for the drugs. So y'all, in my mind, I'm like, this nigga knew not to have shit in my house, yet he went against everything I said and left shit in my house, and now I'm about to be held accountable for it. This nigga got me fucked up. So they tell me that if I tell them where he is, they will release my kids to me and allow my mama to come and pick them up, right? So in my mind, I'm like, just tell them some bullshit just to get them out your face so they'll let your mama come and get your kids, right? So I give them the address to the house that we purchased up north, not thinking anything of it, right? Mind y'all, this is a house where the floor is falling in. There's no plumbing. Like, it is not safe for anybody to occupy this home at the moment. So he walks off and he makes a call, and then he comes back and he hands me my phone and says, call your mom, she can come and get your kids. So in my head, I'm like, these stupid motherfuckers think I done fucking gave them the right information, but whatever. So fast forward, I end up going to the county jail. They took me and they took his brother. They charged me with failure to appear, and they charged him with simple possession because they found like a blunt roach in his room, right? But at the time, I'm not knowing that I'm not being charged with what he told me I was being charged with. I'm thinking the worst. So I get down to the county jail. I get booked. I call my grandparents and I'm like, listen, this is what's going on. I don't know how much my bond is going to be, but whatever it is, make it. I got y'all. So y'all, as I'm sitting in the drunk tank, so many people are coming in that cell. I'm talking about every time I turned around, there was another person coming through that mud. So I'm sitting here. I'm not really talking to nobody because I'm frustrated. I'm in my head. I'm just waiting on my bond to be made. But then I heard these girls talking, and I heard them say they got, basically saying that they got my baby daddy. So y'all, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder where they found him at. So now I'm being nosy. I don't even want them to know that I know this man, but I'm trying to figure out a way to talk to them to get the information. So I'm like, dang, they got y'all plug, where they get him at? And they proceed to tell me that they got him at some house in Detroit. Yo, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why of all times, you want to be at that house now? So I bond out of jail. I go back to my house. It's a wreck, y'all. Me and my baby daddy brother, we cleaning it, and we just like, what's next? So I got my baby daddy brother option. I pretty much told him, you can stay here with us or you can go back home. But because he felt homesick and he was kind of going through the motions of his brother leaving, he decided to go back home. So fast forward, y'all. All that happened in April. Here it is June, and I'm back in nursing school, right? And me and my baby daddy, we still having communication because I am pregnant with his child. And I'm still feeling like kind of bad because I'm like, damn, I told these people this address, but I never intended for them to find him there. So y'all, it was this one day, I had a dream. And y'all know when y'all pregnant, y'all having pregnancy dreams, they feel so real. And in my dream, the DEA and the marshals are knocking on my door and they're calling my name, telling me they have a warrant for my arrest. And my baby daddy called, I tell him like, I feel like they're gonna get me. I feel like I'm going to jail. And he like, nah, you good. So y'all, this is one day I'm sitting in class and I get a screenshot of my mugshot on a crime page. And it's pretty much saying, wanted, if y'all know or seen this person, contact blah, blah, blah for a reward. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What are they looking for me for? So I called the number that was on the flyer. And I'm like, hello, I heard y'all was looking for me. So the people tell me that pretty much it was a mistake. They posted it by mistake. They aren't looking for me. They apologize, right? But I knew that wasn't right because I just had this ill feeling in my stomach that something was just not right. So I leave school. After class is over, I go home and I'm sitting on my porch. And as I'm sitting on my porch, I see a van ride by and the doors slide open. And I look up and all I see is some people with this army fatigue on. And he look at me and he says, I instantly call my mama, y'all, and tell her I'm going to jail. Come over here and get the kids. So they tell me that I'm being charged with conspiracy to distribute and possession with intent to distribute. Possession? I thought y'all was charging that nigga with his shit. Why am I being charged with possession? So they take me to jail, and how the feds work, when you get arrested, if you're arrested before 4, you're going to court immediately. But since I was picked up after 4, I went to court the next morning. And when I got to court, they reading off these charges and they telling me all the time these charges carry, and I'm just freaking out, y'all. And because I had no priors and I wasn't a flight risk and I had never been in trouble before, they let me out on pretrial release. And y'all just gonna have to come back for part 5 if y'all want the rest of the story. because this shit gets crazy. It gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And let me just remind y'all, all this shit happened in 6 months, okay? 6 months.
Damn, I thought it was like some years. 6 months? That's why I said at first that all this stuff was moving real fast. Now, if they trying to charge her with stuff they found in the house, and she gave the address to the Detroit address, did her baby daddy say it was her stuff because he felt like she snitched on him with that address, even though she didn't think that he was going to be at the house? Because all of a sudden they got your baby daddy, but now you on a crime page? Okay, I digress. Not only that, her kids is in the mix of all of this, and that's why she got out of the game, so her kids won't be affected. But yet her man was still doing stuff behind her back as well as cheating. Let's go to part 5, right? Let's go to part 5.
Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So, like I was saying, I went to court the next morning, and they let me out on pretrial release, right? But when I get in the courtroom, if anybody's ever been in a federal courthouse, y'all know how intimidating that courtroom is. So I get in there, and I'm seated at this table, and I'm seated next to someone that they're referring to as my lawyer. And at the other table, it's a man that they're referring to as the U.S. Attorney. And behind me is my father, my mother, my grandparents, my homegirls, and just a shitload of support, okay? And I'm like, okay, period. They don't play about the kid. It's just a preliminary, and they deep about me, you hear me? So the U.S. Attorney stands up, and he's presenting his case, and he's giving the facts, and he's telling my charges. And he's giving his reasoning for opposing to me getting pretrial release, right? And then my lawyer stands up, and she's giving the facts, and she's telling how I'm not a flight risk, how I'm not in danger to society, and also how I'm pregnant with my baby. But then she proceeds to mention that I gave corroboration to the government, which assisted in them arresting the head defendant of the case. So now I'm feeling a little hopeful that maybe this can play into my favor. And y'all, it definitely did, because the judge agreed to release me on pretrial release on certain conditions. And one of those conditions was no communication with any of my co-defendants, including my baby daddy. And y'all, how I'm feeling right now, I really don't give a fuck about having communications with this man. Just let me out, okay? So I meet up with my lawyer, and she pretty much tell me she don't know anything right now. She's going to file a motion for the discovery, and she will get with me when she receives it. So y'all, I get out of jail, I go home, and I'm just sitting in my house, and I just feel like such a dark cloud over this home, and my kids no longer feel comfortable in this home. So now my next move is to find a house for me and my kids to be comfortable, right? So I get on top of it. I immediately find a house for me and my kids to move to. And how convenient it is, it's like 3 houses down from my grandmother, right? So I get me and my kids moved, we get settled, and I continue on my journey in nursing school. And although I'm fighting these crazy charges, I keep telling myself that if it's for me, it's for me. So keep going, because I know it's got to be a blessing somewhere in this lesson. So yeah, I remember one day I was sitting in class, right? And I get an email from my doctor's office telling me that they have the results of my genetics test, right? And I said that I wanted to do a gender reveal, but I was extremely depressed, and I just felt like I needed some type of happiness in my life. So I opened the email, and the email told me that I was having a girl. And I remember screaming in my class. I cried. I was so excited, y'all. Like, I immediately got online and started ordering all type of little girl shit, because I'm like, finally, something good, you know? So life is going okay at the moment. You know, I'm fighting this case, but I'm really just trying to embrace everything that I have in front of me and be grateful for the days that I do have. And everything was good. Everything was going okay. And then I got a call from my lawyer. And she's pretty much telling me that she has received my discovery. And as of right now, all she sees is a couple of intimate pictures and videos of me and my baby daddy in his phone. So I'm thinking, like, if that's all they got, they don't really got no case. I should be good, right? No. She calls back a couple of days later after the discovery fully downloaded, and she proceeds to tell me that they have a bunch of text messages showing that I enabled in this conspiracy, right? So we make an appointment and I come to her office so we can sit down and go through all this evidence, right? And as we're going through this evidence, there's a text message from my baby daddy that he sent to my phone. And that message is stating, I'm so tired of everybody. I'm about to just cut everybody off and it's just gonna be me and you. And y'all, I told y'all when he sent the message back then, I didn't think nothing of it at the time. So I explained what that text message was about and she wrote everything down. And then we moved on. So then she proceeds to show me where they have these text messages that was taken out of my phones that was confiscated when they came to my house. And mind y'all, these is some old phones that I let my kids watch YouTube and play games on. But those also are the phones that I was using when I was outside playing in the streets. And y'all, it is so true when they say karma will come back around and bite you in the ass. Because it came back around and bit me in the ass. Because although I got out the game when I met this man, there's text messages from the year prior when I was selling drugs. And back around that time is around the time they started investigating him. And although I didn't do any business with anybody on this indictment, mind y'all, it is 28 people on this indictment. And out of 28 people, I know his brother, him, his homeboy, and the driver. So looking at the dates of their investigation and the text messages in my phone and the correspondence between the two of us, they pretty much have enough evidence to prove conspiracy, right?
It's the driver. It's the driver. That's why he opened their wallets to see their names. That driver been snitching the driver rat. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's the driver. It's the driver.
So now we move forward to the possession with intent charge. And I mentioned to my lawyer again, that is not my stuff, so I should not be charged with it. And she proceeds to tell me that my baby daddy refuses to talk to the government. He refuses to mention anything about this case, even as far as taking accountability for the drugs that was found in my home. So now I'm just like, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. And I can't even talk to this man to even get an understanding of why you're doing me like this. Mind y'all, I'm carrying this man's first and only child. So y'all, at this point, I think I fall into one of the darkest depressions that I have ever been in my life. Because now, moving forward, I'm looking at my future days as my last days that I'll be out here, right? I even looked forward to my career and just had to accept that that's just not what's ideal for me. That's not what is meant for me. And I dropped out of school. So months passed and it is now December. And it's time to give birth to my baby girl. So on December the 6th, 2019, I give birth to my beautiful baby girl and I name her Ivory. And y'all, that was one of the most bittersweet moments because I'm holding this little girl in my arms that I've always wanted. But I'm also thinking about the fact that I'm about to leave this little girl out here in this world and I don't even know how long I'm about to be gone. So after I give birth to my daughter, y'all know how it is, postpartum is a motherfucker. So being under postpartum and facing everything I'm facing, I make an irrational decision and I get in contact with my baby daddy because I need help understanding why are you wanting to take me away from my kids. And this was the response this nigga gave me. Pause it. Read the screen. So y'all, I'm fuming at this point. Me and him going back and forth, and I'm calling him every name in the book except for a child of God, okay? And I finally just have to accept that this man is just he's just an evil person. And no matter what I tell my lawyer, in order for them to drop the charges on me, he has to take ownership. So some time passed, y'all, and this man finally get his discovery. And all I know is I'm scrolling on social media and I see that I'm the topic. Y'all, I was under attack. I'm talking about they was making statuses, they was making lives, I'm getting messages, people calling my phone private, threatening me. So I'm feeling like under attack. I'm scared for my life at this point. Like, I'm feeling defeated because everybody's attacking me and making me feel like the villain for telling where this man was. And I'm just trying to understand, why would you put this statement out? What is your hidden motives when you decided to do this? And when they say that back door always open, they wasn't lying. Y'all wouldn't believe what this nigga did. Y'all gonna have to come back for part 6 to hear this plot twist.
People can be so fucking evil, and at the end of the day, that type of person, like, out in the street, don't give a fuck about somebody else going to jail as long as he not. Don't give a about somebody losing their life due to his product because it's not him. Will do anything to anybody else, anything, and even dance with the devil. At the end of the day, when it was all said and done, she was put in a position that she didn't want to lose her children. Her children was supposed to be number one, our number one. So when they said that they was going to take her kids, baby, she gave an address that she wouldn't think you would be at. Assuming since the house was fucked up, you wouldn't be there. But little old you was there. If your homeboy going to jail and she turned the phone around so you could see that the feds was at his house before they was at hers, what made you think that you was out of the loop and they wouldn't find you? Regardless if she gave the address or not, they would have still got you. I hate people that do dirty ass stuff, and I hate people that know they doing wrong, but then when time come and it smack them in the face, they blame it on everybody else around them. What was she supposed to do? Choose you over her kids? You put her in that position, remember?
Part 6 on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So y'all, like I was saying, y'all won't believe what this nigga did. This nigga had some bitch he was fucking come to the jail and take pictures of my statement and post them all on social media, right? Mind y'all, he got his full discovery, so he has every statement and every piece of evidence they have against him, including the statement that the driver gave. Mind y'all, the driver was picked up before anybody, and he was released to work as a confidential informant. Not to mention, he has another statement.
I was on it. I'm telling you, I knew it. I knew it from the jump. That nigga was already being investigated. His partners, the ones that was snitching, his circle, and he was mad at her? What?
From the girl that called his phone that day, and in her statement, she's informing the DEA that she was given the drugs by my baby daddy that she served to the person that OD'd, right? He got the statement from the homeboy that was calling while we was on the beach crying, talking about he's scared to go to jail, seeing that he was forced to come down here and work, and that my baby daddy pretty much like held him hostage type shit. So you got all these statements and all this evidence of the people that you brought around you, the people that you brought down here to build this organization with, working against you and working with the DEA to pretty much build this case against you. But you want to punish me for giving the address to a property that we purchased together that was never occupied, and you end up occupying it and getting found there. But hold on though, y'all. Let me rewind a little bit. Because after I got that call from my homegirl that the feds had her house surrounded, I called my baby daddy immediately and told him this is what's going on. And instead of this Billy Bob Thornton looking ass nigga getting his shit and getting the fuck out of Dodge like I told him to, he riding around Detroit smoking weed, and this nigga go by the house that we purchased, and that's when he got spotted. And from that point on, he was spotted riding around Detroit, and he eventually got pulled over in Popeye's drive-thru, y'all. Fat, hungry ass nigga. Like, how can you even eat at a time like this? The fuck? I should have knew this nigga wasn't straight then. So, y'all, I'm fuming because I'm getting calls all night. I'm getting screenshots of different opinions, different statements, different posts. Just people going crazy, right? And under pressure, I made another irrational decision, and I contacted this nigga again. Because I need to know, like, why are you doing me like this? Like, seriously, y'all, I really want to know, why are you doing me like this? And mind y'all, from the day I started fucking with this nigga to the present time, I wasn't selling the liquor drugs. I wasn't in the streets. I was doing hair. I was working. I was selling food. I was doing anything to keep my cash flowing and to keep me out the way. So for that to be your reasoning for exposing me because I want to be accepted by the streets was just crazy to me. So once I realized there was no rationalizing with this nigga, no having or coming to any type of understanding, I just decided to move on with my life the best way I can while fighting a case and while being under attack, because in everybody else's mind, I'm the bitch that took down everybody from Detroit, right? So a couple months passed and I thought everything had died down until this one day. It was April the 10th, 2020, and me and my kids was outside. We was cutting the grass, we was blowing the leaves, and we was preparing for Easter weekend because we was going to have a cookout and a big Easter egg hunt, right? And as we wrapping up our yard work, my grandmother calls me to find out about our plans for Easter. So I get in my car so I can answer this call because it's loud, because my son outside blowing the leaves and the grass off the pavement where the basketball goal is, right? So as I'm sitting in this car and I'm on this call, I hear gunshots. Bow, 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 bow. And it happened so fast that my first reaction was to duck. Mind y'all, I'm sitting in the car. So immediately when I hear the gunshot stop, I open my car door and I jump out. And I'm looking around to make sure that everything is okay and that everybody's okay. And I'm thinking everybody's okay until I look down and I see a couple driplets of blood. My heart dropped, like it's dropping now, telling y'all this story. And as I'm looking down at these blood drops, I hear a little voice say, "Oh no, I've been shot." And I look up and I look at my 5-year-old son, and he's standing in front of my garage, and all I see is his shoes is covered in blood, and I start screaming. And I grab my baby, but I'm making sure to be careful because I don't know where he's shot at. I just know that I see blood, and I just wanted to hold him. And my mama come running out the house, and my oldest son come running in the house, and I'm just screaming, "Call the police, call the police." And when my baby first realized that he was shot, y'all, he a soldier. He wasn't crying. It was me freaking out and crying that scared him and caused him to start crying. So y'all, the ambulance gets there, the police gets there. They put my baby in the back of the ambulance and they take him to the hospital, and I follow behind him. And at this time, it's the very peak of COVID. So because this virus is going on, they're trying to investigate what this virus is, they're not really allowing anybody in the hospital unless they're being seen. So I'm sitting outside of the hospital and I'm just like I'm hyperventilating, y'all. Like I'm losing my mind because I just don't know what's going on. I don't know why this has happened. I don't know who did this, but the only thing I could think of is my baby daddy. So while I'm sitting outside of the hospital, the police come and they're questioning me and they ask me, where do I think this came from? And I told him I don't know where this come from because I literally didn't know where this came from. All I knew is that I'm fighting a federal case and my statement was just exposed a couple months ago. So as soon as I was done being questioned by the detectives, the doctors come out and let me know that they have more information about my son. And they informed me that he was shot in one leg where he was grazed and went through the front, came out the side. And in the right leg, he was shot in the front and it came out the back of his calf muscle. And they showed me the x-ray, and in the x-ray is about this much of his bone missing. And also the doctor makes sure she tell me that the bullet missed his main artery by this much, y'all. All I could do was thank God that my baby was still here and that he still had a fighting chance at life. So we go back and they let me see my son before they take him back for surgery. And y'all listen to my baby. Just listen to him. That's why I was crying. In that moment, the only thing my baby could ask me was, why was you crying, mama? And I'm crying, y'all, because of course I'm crying because my baby is having to go through this, but the tears are a lot more heavier because I'm thinking about all these events that's occurring and what I felt like I did to save my kids at the moment could possibly be the outcome of my baby having to go through what he's going through right now. So surgery goes well. We get out the hospital and pretty much my main focus is nursing my baby back to health the best of my ability, you know. And look at him, y'all. My baby was trying. He was not letting nothing stop him. On it, yeah. Look. So by now, the information about the shooting has gotten back to the U.S. attorney, and they're questioning my baby daddy, and they're pulling his phone records, and they're pulling his emails to see if he made the call for this to happen. And as they're going through his phone records and they're going through his messages, they stumble across the message where I contacted my baby daddy, and we're going back and forth about this paperwork being exposed. And in the heat of that argument, they also see where my baby daddy told me that my paperwork was exposed because I told the DEA that he was in Detroit buying drugs, and that's how they got their search warrant to get into the property that we purchased. And there's another message where I'm denying it because it wasn't true. I didn't tell him that. So when the DEA sees that message, he is fuming. So about a month and a half passed. It's now June. And I get a call from my lawyer. And on the other line, she's telling me, I have some bad news. And y'all just gonna have to come back for part 7 if y'all want the rest. We're gonna wrap it up.
Oh my God, that baby. God was watching over him. Like, I was speechless. When one mother cried, every mother cried. When one parent cried, every parent cried. That is crazy. That is crazy. You know she got kids, but you set it up. You set it up for her house to be shot at. And whoever it was didn't give no fucks because you probably told them don't give no fucks. And they came and shot and probably seen that little boy outside and still shot because people low the fuck down. Low down. Idiot. If you are a whole pharmacist, street pharmacist, you should know that police, investigators, they will do and say anything to get your ass to fucking talk, to get you to say stuff. Right? And you had to think in your mind like, damn, I just don't think she would she would give the address if she knew I was there. Nigga, you probably was there on some slick shit. Just like she ain't know you would be hanging out there. She ain't know a lot of stuff about you. And unfortunately, she had to learn the hard way. But at the end of the day, you didn't give a F about your friend or nobody. So what would make her different? Y'all, let's go to the next part.
Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So y'all, like I was saying, I get a call from my lawyer, and on the other end, she's telling me that she got some bad news. And y'all, I'm instantly thinking she finna tell me some bad news about the situation that occurred with my son, right? And I was not prepared for what this lady was about to tell me. She proceeds to tell me that she receives the email from the U.S. Attorney. And in the email, he's stating that due to my communications with my baby daddy, I have violated my terms of supervised pretrial release. But she also tell me that he hasn't said that he's going to violate me yet. He's still going through the phone calls. He will get back with us, right? And although she's telling me this, I'm thinking the worst, but I'm trying to keep a little faith that maybe he will take into consideration that I'm still dealing with my son in his healing stage after the incident that just occurred 2 months ago, right? So a day passed and I get another call from my lawyer. And she's telling me that she has finally received a response from the U.S. Attorney. And in that email, he's stating that he's finally went over all the emails and all the phone calls that my baby daddy has made during his stay at the county jail. And I didn't find anything to the magnitude of proving that he had anything to do with the shooting that occurred at my house. And after carefully going through all of our emails, she said that he finds the email where my baby daddy said that I told the DEA that he was in Detroit buying drugs, and that's how they got their search warrant to search the house up in Detroit. And he also see the email where I'm denying it. And that information alone pissed the U.S. Attorney off because they got their affidavit to get the search warrant in Detroit based off of telling the FBI in Detroit that I told them he was in Detroit buying drugs, and that was not true. As soon as it was confirmed to my baby daddy that that information wasn't true, he hit his lawyer up and told his lawyer to file a motion to suppress his evidence because they got evidence on him that they're charging him with, right? And because of all of that, he has violated my pretrial release, and I have 72 hours to turn myself into the federal building. But let me tell y'all how cold the U.S. Attorney played it, right? So after he dropped the bomb of basically like, I'm violating you because you fucking up what we got going on, he proceeds to send over every email that my baby daddy has sent to every bitch that he was communicating with, right? Y'all, this man was talking about me like a dog. I'm talking about I was every fucking thing but the name my mother gave me, okay? And y'all, he telling so many different females the exact same shit that he used to tell me. But not only that, he telling these girls like I took him down and I took all his homies down and everybody taking him down, and that's why he didn't fuck with me like that, and I was just a bitch he was using, and that's why he left the drugs in my house, yada yada yada. So the U.S. Attorney pretty much was like, yeah, bitch, you wanna play with us and this nigga playing with you type shit, right? But my heart was broken, y'all, like, because after I hung up that phone call, I gotta break it to my kids and to my son, who's already scared and already going through so much, that I fucked up and I gotta leave y'all. So me, my grandmother, and my mother, we get together and we start getting together my affairs and the arrangements for my kids. And we agreed that my grandmother is going to get guardianship of my kids, but right now they're just going to stay with my mom at my house because the transition will be a little more normal for them. So as these 72 hours is going by, y'all, I'm like, I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Like, I feel like I'm here, but I'm not here. Like, but I'm just trying to take in everything and trying to enjoy every moment with my kids while I can. So June 7th came, and it was time for me to turn myself in. And all my friends and my family, we all gather at my house that morning, and we say our farewells. And then we meet up at the courthouse and I walk myself in. And that probably was one of the hardest things I had to do, because as I'm walking in that building, I'm looking back at my family and I'm just like, when will I walk out these doors, y'all? Because I haven't even signed my plea yet. So I get there and we go immediately in the courtroom because I have to have a pretrial revocation hearing. And before we get in here, my lawyer telling me, like, I feel like we got a chance of probably getting your pretrial reinstated, blah, blah, blah. Like, she giving me hope, but I had a feeling in my stomach like, this is it. This is time to get this shit over with. So I get in the courtroom and y'all, it's this magistrate judge that I've never seen. Like, it's a woman, and baby, did she not come to play, okay? So once again, the U.S. attorney is stating his case and he's presenting why I'm being violated for my pretrial. And my lawyer stands up and she's stating her case and why she feels that I should be reinstated. She mentions my daughter that I just gave birth to, and she mentions the fact that my son was just shot in a drive-by shooting. But then she caught herself trying to spice it up and make it sound good, right? And she proceeds to tell this magistrate judge that it is still under investigation of if my baby daddy had something to do with my son being shot. So I needed to be home to protect my kids, right? Y'all, this magistrate judge ate me up and spit me out, okay? She told me that after hearing everything that she needed to hear, she feels like I'm in danger to society because I failed to protect my kids, because with the suspicions of my baby daddy having something to do with my son being shot or causing all these threats to come my way, I still decided to communicate with him. I felt like the scum of the earth, y'all. Like, I felt like the worst mother in the world once this lady was done reading me. And after she was done reading me, she dropped the mic and told me, you will be held without bond, okay? So I get in this cell, y'all, and a part of me is like, I'm really sad, y'all, because all I can think about is that little voice in my head saying, oh no, I've been shot. And all I can picture is this little bitty, innocent, beautiful baby that God blessed me with in this storm. And my oldest son, who has always just been a mama's boy, and now he has to be without his mama. Like, y'all, I had a mental breakdown. And after I had that mental breakdown, I told myself, chin up, chest out, let's get this shit over with. So about 6 months passed, y'all, and I'm in this county jail in Ocilla, Georgia. And the way that this jail is set up, they got all the women over in the quarantine unit. So we see all the new commits that's coming in. So me and the girls, we all in the window because, you know, we trying to see a new face. And y'all, guess who came walking their ass through that motherfucker? My baby daddy, y'all. And for some reason, this nigga was so excited to see me, y'all. Like, this nigga came walking up to the window like shit sweet. And I'm just looking at him. So later on that day, I'm laying in my cell reading a book. And one of the COs came, knocked on my door, and she passed me a note. And opening that note and reading the contents of that note, I felt like it was Christmas, y'all. Like, this nigga told me that he finally wrote a letter to the U.S. attorney, and he told the U.S. attorney that everything was his. So, y'all, I'm geeked. Like, finally some good news, y'all. So I jump up and I instantly call my lawyer. And at this point, I start feeling like the universe is just working against me, because y'all would not believe what this lady said. She told me that although this nigga took his charge, now they charging both of us with it. Oh, and by the way, the U.S. attorney got your plea agreement ready. I know, y'all tired of me. But if y'all want to know how everything played out, come back for part 8, the grand finale.
Wait a minute. So he confessed that it was his stuff, but they still charging her with it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And if people don't know by now, the court system will play with you like a chess piece. And no women law enforcement, like the judges and police officers and stuff, them bitches more meaner than the men. So it ain't no, okay, I got a woman, like maybe she'll be more understanding. No, they be mad. It's like they be going through it at home and come to work, baby, on 10 toes. Like, I'm telling you. And not only that, why is her baby daddy walking up to her like we like going dap it up and we not, sir. I don't care what the fuck you confess to, nigga. You got me in this shit and couldn't even get me out. My son shot. We got a daughter together. I gotta see her every day knowing that it's your child. And all of this was because of you. And now her daddy gonna be in jail. I'm gonna be a single mama again. He didn't even F with you like that. Cause he was messing with all these other girls, taught all these other girls crazy stuff. And stuff that he had been telling you. And not only that, the DA is so fucking low down. I feel like she should have been let out again based on that woman judge saying she shouldn't and she not a mother that will protect her kids, blah, 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 blah. But y'all got in text messages that this man telling other women that he set her up by leaving the drugs at her house. So why y'all didn't let her go? Y'all had it before he even wrote the letter that he put them drugs in that house. Whew, Jesus. Street pharmacy is not worth it at all.
Hey y'all, I'm back with the grand finale on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. So like I was saying, as I'm on the phone with my lawyer, she telling me that they pretty much charging both of us with the drugs that was found in my house because basically he waited too late. He waited too late to take the charge, and now they're just going to charge both of us with it, right? But then she tells me that they have my plea agreement ready and she's going to send it over in the mail for me to look over. So y'all, I'm pissed because at this point I feel like I just can't win from losing. Like, no matter how much faith I keep in this situation, I just keep losing. So a couple of days pass and I finally get my plea agreement in the mail. And when I open my plea agreement, it's basically saying that I'm pleading guilty to conspiracy to distribute 400 grams or more, possession with intent to distribute 400 grams or more, and money laundering. Money laundering? The fuck, where'd that come from? So I called my lawyer and I'm like, yo, I got the agreement and that's cool and all, but where does money laundering coming from? And she tells me that there's been new evidence in my discovery, and in that evidence is 2 separate transactions, one of which I sent $350 to his mom for her light bill, and another transaction of $250 that I sent to his sister to get her kids some shoes for Christmas. So I'm like baffled at this point because I'm like, how can they prove that that money that I sent to them was from drug proceeds? And she basically said that they can't prove that what I'm saying the money was sent for is what it was sent for. And they also can't prove if that money was sent to secure drugs or to launder money. So here I am stuck with count 1, count 3, and count 9 of this indictment. And the plea agreement states that with these charges, pleading guilty to them carries a mandatory minimum of 10 years. So I'm like, 10 years? I don't know if I'm about to sign to walk away from my kids for 10 years, y'all. And she tells me to turn the page to the last page of the plea agreement. And in that last paragraph, it states that I am safety valve eligible. And being safety valve eligible pretty much gives the judge the discretion to sentence shoot under the mandatory minimum. So if I sign this 10-year plea agreement and I'm safety valve eligible and I get my points off for being a minor role, my points off for having minimum criminal history, and my points off for accepting responsibility, I'm looking at about 5 years. So the way the odds stacked against me and the way the judge and the U.S. attorney is mad at me, I told myself, get little and get on, and I signed that plea agreement. So my lawyer set a court date for us to go in front of the judge and for me to change my plea from not guilty to guilty. And then they set a sentencing date for 6 months out for me to come and get sentenced. But before we have this court date for me to change my plea, I asked my lawyer to file a motion for me to be furloughed so I can attend my loved one's funeral. Because like a week before I got my change of plea hearing, I get a call from my granny and from my mom, and they're telling me that my great-grandmother has passed away. And I know that I haven't mentioned my great-grandmother a lot in this story, but my great-grandma was somebody that took care of me my whole life. Like it was nothing that she would not do for me, and vice versa. And a part of the reason that I moved in the house that I was living in before I went to prison, that was 3 doors down from my grandmother, I moved there so that I can help her take care of my great-grandmother because she was declining. And before I turned myself in, y'all, I went to see my great-granny. And I talked to her and I told her that I don't know how long I'm going to be gone, but you got to promise me that you're going to wait for me. But she was an 87-year-old woman that took care of everybody in her family, that took care of anybody that encountered her, and that lived her life, and she was tired. And y'all, that motion that my lawyer filed went straight to the same magistrate judge that told me I was a flight risk in the first place. And she denied my motion, stating that I was a flight risk. So I had to attend my grandmother's funeral via Zoom. So I go in front of the judge and I changed my plea from not guilty to guilty, and they set my court date for 6 months out. And in these 6 months, I'm really just trying to stay focused, think positive, stay prayed up, but I'm also grieving. But not only am I grieving, I'm dealing with the news of finding out that my mother has relapsed. And now that my mother has relapsed, my grandmother takes my kids and they're staying with her full time now. So I'm an emotional wreck, y'all. I'm up and I'm down. I'm happy and thinking positive, but then I'm depressed and I'm grieving. And I got these people, these other women in this unit with me, and they fighting some of the same charges that I'm fighting. And some of them got the same 10-year mandatory minimums. And they going to court and they coming back from court and they getting 8 years and 7 years and 10 years. And I'm just like freaking out. And although I'm battling all these things and I'm going through all these different things, I still stay strong within my faith. And I'm telling myself that no matter what these girls got, no matter what these people got going on, what's for me is going to be for me. And I know that God is not taking me through all this for this to be my destiny. And so when people coming in and they asking me how much time you looking at, I never claim no more than 5. I'm getting 4. I'm getting 4. I'm getting 4. And I don't know why I kept telling myself that I was getting 4, but it was something in my heart that just laid that on me, that I was not about to be gone away from my kids for no longer than 4 years. So 6 months down the line comes February 2022. And by this time, I done been in the county jail for 2 years, y'all. So I'm preparing my letter because I told myself that when I got in this courtroom, I was going to lay my heart on the line. And I was going to take full responsibility for my actions. But I also was going to ask this judge for all the mercy that he can give me. So we get in this courtroom, and of course the U.S. attorney stands up and he presents his case, and he's giving the facts of the case, and he's reading off the charges that I've pled guilty to. And because the way everything played out while I was fighting this case, I thought this man hated me, y'all. Like, I just knew in my heart that he was about to sock it to my ass for some reason. Because when I walked in that courtroom, I felt immediate intimidation. So after this man reads off all my charges and the facts of the case and the scope of the indictment, he stands up and he tells the judge all these great things about me, y'all. He's telling her how no matter what, I made sure I did the best to be the best mother that I could be to my kids. And he's telling the judge that no matter how many obstacles was thrown my way, I tried to stay focused in school, and I tried to stay focused on my career. And he also states that he know that I'm a minor role to this case, but this lesson in this case that he want me to learn, and for other women like me to learn, is to stay away from guys like my baby daddy. And after he states that, he ends it with, we, the government, are asking for 48 months. I said, okay. And I look at my lawyer like, you next. And my lawyer stands up and she's giving me all my praises. Like, she is fighting with everything in her to help the judge understand that I'm not this person that this case has painted me out to be. And after she was done saying what she said, she asked the judge for 42 months. So now it's time for me. I stand up and I get my paper and I read my letter to the judge. And y'all, it was like a 2-page letter because like I said, I was laying my heart on the line. And after I read my letter to the judge took into consideration everything I said, everything the U.S. attorney said, and everything my lawyer said, and told us that she was going to meet us in the middle and sentence me to 44 months. Y'all don't understand how relieved I was to know that I've been gone for 2 years. 44 months at 85% is 33 months. Couple more months and I'm home with my babies, y'all. So after serving 36 months in a federal prison on March 6, 2023, I was finally reunited with my babies. Thank y'all so much for taking out the time to listen to my testimony. Make sure y'all purchase my book, The Colors of Her Scars, dropping May 13th.
Jesus, this is a this is exactly why I do reactions to videos like this and hear other people's stories. Like, sometimes it's best to hear somebody else's story so you can change what you are doing. Because if you're doing some stuff like this, baby, you in the wrong direction. And it's best to hear somebody else's story so you'll know how it works, whatever the case is. Y'all, when I say that she was going through so much, but she kept faith. She relapsed and come back, but baby, she was strong on what she stood on. She wanted to get out of that situation only to still be in it because her man was still doing it. But at the end of the day, God has the last say so. God has the last say so. And now she home with her 3 children. That 5-year-old is now walking, baby. Yes. Her daughter is now talking, and she gets to be there from that point on. That point on. It is so sad that she lost her grandmother in jail. Like, y'all, it hit right here. Because my granny, she was the one that took care of everybody. But my great grandma, yeah, no words can explain that woman. And when I mean about my grandmother took care of everybody she wanted to take care of, because, yeah, but I still loved her so. But that great granny had no favorites. She took care of everybody. Anybody that came her way and needed something, she was on it. If you got kids or not, she was on it. She looked out for you. She was always there when you needed her. And baby, when we lost her, Jesus. So when she said she lost her great granny, I knew, like, ooh, her son got shot, baby. When parents cry, we all cry. Cause who? And then her mother relapsed. Like, damn. I just feel like her mother just seen her only daughter like going through all of this stuff, and it just put her back into a depression stage, and she just relapsed. Hopefully she get back off of the whatever she on and become better again. But I feel like this situation kind of weaned her back into depression just like her daughter was, and she relapsed. But hopefully she learned her lesson, because when she was unresponsive like that was a lesson from God. God was trying to tell us something. And you know, I'm proud of her for at least trying. You guys, drop down in the comment section what you think about this story. Don't forget to like, comment, and join the family by subscribing. Y'all, when I tell you that this is not about drama and tea, really, this is about everybody's story. Like, this is about somebody changing something, and hope these videos help somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Because somebody else's story could be kind of related to yours, and now you see what you could go through and just change, you know, your direction. Or know that you're not the only one in this world that is going through these type of issues, and hope that it gets better for you. So subscribe to this channel if you like this type of content. You guys that's returning, I really appreciate you guys. And you know, every time you see me, I gotta repeat myself. Like, hype me up, share this video, and come back to see another reaction video. I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.